14:58 AM and DAB. Winner of Radio Station of the Year at the Asian Media Awards. This is your Leica Radio.
On the Sky News Centre at 9. A major deal's been done between nearly 200 countries, which will see a fund set up for poorer nations most affected by climate change. Details of who will pay and when will be finalised at a later date. It concludes 2 weeks of talks at the COP conference in Egypt. Sherry Remon's there, representing Pakistan, a country devastated by floods this summer.
The ultimate test, Mr. President, of this conference of parties is that it responded to the voices of the vulnerable, the damaged and the lost.
Health Secretary Stephen Barclay's revealed details of some reforms to the NHS designed to free doctors and nurses from time-sapping admin. He wants to cut red tape to improve efficiency. A 17-year-old boy has been stabbed to death in what police believe was a targeted attack in Cambridge. Officers were called to a nature reserve yesterday afternoon. After much controversy in its build-up, the World Cup will begin in Qatar later. The first match sees the hosts face Ecuador. Joe Rawson is in Doha.
Fans from all over the globe have descended on this small country, but it's the home supporters that seem most excited.
I cannot believe it. It's happening here and it's amazing.
They're also optimistic their team can cause an upset.
2-1 for Qatar. Well, I'm putting all my hopes, but I think they prepared good.
Brighton midfielder Moses Caicedo plays for Ecuador.
We are very much excited. This is the opening match of the World Cup.
The game starts after an opening ceremony that features South Korean pop star Jungkook of BTS.
England fought back to draw 25-all with New Zealand in their Rugby Union Autumn International at Twickenham. Wales lost against Georgia. Scotland beat Argentina 52-29. And the price gap between petrol and diesel is bigger than ever. Drivers of diesels are paying 25 pence a litre more. That's the latest. I'm Anna Bates.
OK, James, I need you to do a few more drops than yesterday, I'm afraid.
Carl needs to find another driver for his expanding courier business. Someone who'll really help to lighten the load.
Any issues, give me a call.
Indeed can help him find great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do.
South today. What about you?
Indeed helps you quickly attract, screen and virtually interview great candidates, all through an easy-to-use dashboard. To start hiring, visit Indeed.com/try today.
Winner of Radio Station of the Year at the Asian Media Awards 2022.
Leica Radio, London.
Leica Radio Weather is brought to you by TravelUp.com. Our lowest prices are guaranteed only when you book directly through TravelUp.com or call 0207 580 5000.
Today's weather: light rain and moderate breeze. In London and surrounding areas, top temperature 10 centigrade. Sunset is at 4:05 p.m.
Weather was brought to you by TravelUp.com. Our lowest prices are guaranteed only when you book directly through TravelUp.com.
Leica Radio.
Talking Points with Keith Vaz, celebrating diversity. Leica, London.
Leica Radio.
Good morning and welcome to the 137th edition of Talking Points on Leica Radio with me, Keith Vaz. Thank you, Priyanka, for a great show. It's Sunday, the 20th of November 2022. Another eventful week has come to an end. The wait is finally over and the 2020 FIFA World Cup commences today in Qatar. Don't miss the opening ceremony at 2 p.m. today our time before the first match between Qatar and Ecuador. England plays Iran tomorrow in their first game. Is it coming home at last? Let's now go around the world to get the top news stories for the week. The UN announced on Tuesday that we're a family of 8 billion people, 11 years after we crossed the 7 billion mark. It also has projected that India will surpass China and become the world's most populous country next year. Claiming that the UK economy is already in recession with GDP to shrink by 1.4% next year, the Chancellor announced his budget, confirming increases in the coming months for most individuals in Britain. NASA launched the most powerful rocket in its history on Wednesday as it kickstarts efforts to get humans back on the moon. I suppose with 8 billion people on Earth, it's important we have somewhere else to live. The successful launch from Cape Canaveral in Florida follows cancelled attempts in August and September September of this year. And another big event in Florida, not just a rocket going to the moon, but a rocket being launched by Donald Trump, who announced in Mar-a-Lago in Florida that he was going to run for the Republican nomination for president in 2024. Who invented the radio? It's a question that I'm asked frequently. How old is our radio? Well, this is, as you know, our Inventor series. We're trying to discover things that we didn't know when they began. The Italian inventor Marconi first developed the idea of a radio or wireless telegraph in the 1890s, and his ideas took shape in 1895 when he sent a wireless Morse code message to a source more than a kilometre away. So, there you have it. On the programme today, my special guest is Shruti Chauhan, broadcast journalist, radio presenter at BBC Radio Leicester, and an award-winning poet and performer. Shruti will be joining us from Leicester and talking about journalism, media, and her journey as a broadcaster and a poet. From Leicester, we're going to be travelling to central London, in fact, to the banks of the River Thames, to the New Scotland Yard itself, the headquarters of the biggest police force in the whole of Europe. We're going to be talking to a leading black police officer, Chief Superintendent Jeff Booth of the Metropolitan Police Service. Jeff will be sharing with us his views on ethnic minority representation and experiences in the police force. They need more black, Asian and ethnic minority police officers. Are you going to be one of them? Please stay tuned for that. But before all that, let's hear some music.
सुरूर है असर तेरा ये जरूर है तेरी नजर का कसूर है पास तू क्यों दूर है ये इश्क का जो फितूर है नशे में दिल तेरे चूर है अब तो होश ना खबर है ये कैसा असर है होश ना खबर है ये कैसा असर है तुमसे मिलने के बाद दिल तुमसे मिलने के बाद पर क्यों मीठा है फल मेरा ख्वाब है तू मेरे दिल का करार देख ले जाने मन देख ले बस एक बार चैन खो गया है कुछ तो हो गया है चैन खो गया है कुछ तो हो गया है तुमसे मिलने के बाद तुमसे मिलने के बाद अब तो होश ना खबर है ये कैसा असर है होश ना खबर है ये कैसा असर है तुमसे मिलने के बाद तुमसे मिलने के बाद
Talking Points with Keith Vaz, celebrating diversity. Leica, London.
Welcome back. This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Leica Radio. I hope you enjoyed the music. My special guest on the programme today is Shruti Chauhan, a broadcast journalist and radio presenter at BBC Radio Leicester, the oldest local radio station in the country. She's an award-winning poet and performer. She's performed at the Royal Albert Hall, South Bank Centre, TEDx Leicester, the Royal Shakespeare Company, even the US Embassy's American Centre in New Delhi, the Green Mile in Chicago, and also widely across the UK. Shruti was voted the best spoken word performer at the 2018 Sabato Awards and won the National Poetry Library's Insta Poetry competition the same year. Currently with the BBC Leicester, but definitely heading for higher things, she produces and presents the Asian programme, including the Young British Asian Talk, as well as the weekend mid-morning show on BBC Radio Leicester. With the best voice that I have available for radio on a Sunday morning, let's go over to Leicester and join Shruti Chauhan. Good morning, Shruti Chauhan.
Good morning, Keith.
Now, you've interviewed so many people. It feels very exciting for me to be actually interviewing you because it's the other way around for you. How does it feel to actually be on the other side today? Are you worried that I'm going to bring out a surprise question to you? What does it feel like to be on the other side?
It is a little bit unusual. I am used to asking the questions. As a poet, I am interviewed quite a lot, so it's not entirely alien.
But being a poet, starting your poetry, when did you begin to be interested in poetry? Because it's not something that members of our community necessarily choose to be. What made you become a poet?
Well, I think I was writing from a really young age. I always had a flair for writing, for creative writing. So that started from quite a young age, I'd say. And then more seriously, I think I was at university and I took up a module in performance writing and I did really well in it. And my lecturers said, you should really pursue this. And I guess the rest is history, as they say.
Because in a sense, you have to be quite creative with poetry. Do you write your own poetry on a regular basis, or do you prefer to read somebody else's?
Well, I think reading someone else's poetry makes you a better writer. So you should always be reading all of the time. But I most enjoy, of course, writing and performing my own poetry because that's how I express myself. That's how I process the world around me. It's how I make sense of things. So I really love to write poetry. And then with spoken word, the beauty is that you get to perform, you get to engage and connect with an audience. And what I love so much about it is, let's say I did a poetry set and then someone comes up to me after a gig and they say, you know what, I really could relate to that. I've been through that as well. And that's the beauty of performance poetry, that we share our stories, we share our truths, and we open up a dialogue with others. And effectively, we realize that we're not alone.
Now, you're passionate about telling the stories of real people on your daily show, and your story is obviously very interesting. When you went up to your parents and they said to you, Shruti, are you going to be a doctor or a doctor? And you said, no, Mum and Dad, I'm going to be a poet. What did they say?
Well, I don't think they quite understood because it's not something that anyone we know, it's not a path that anyone we know has pursued. So I don't think they really understood. But what I really appreciate is that they didn't stand in my way. They kind of just let me go, get on with things. And it wasn't easy because effectively you're forging your own path. It's not a path that is laid out for you. And you just got to go along with it. Like, all I knew was that I loved poetry and that I loved performing. This was my passion. And I just decided I'm just going to go for this.
But obviously you've got a beautiful voice. People must have commented on your voice. You're a broadcaster as well as a poet. It's silky smooth as a voice. Do people, when they meet you, say, oh my goodness, you speak so beautifully, as they do sometimes to me, less as I get older, and they go, where did you learn to speak English so well? Does anyone ever say that to you?
Well, you're very kind, Keith. I do get compliments on my voice. I don't know where that comes from. I think maybe being exposed to Indian classical music as a child. So I sing as well, and I started learning to sing as a little girl as well. So that probably contributed to it. And then I think the rest is just God-given, isn't it? You can't change the voice you're given. You just have it.
That's true. But you know who you remind me of? Your voice. It's so smooth. You remind me of Lady Mary in Downton Abbey. I think that if I was going to be reborn reborn with a new voice, it would be to speak so beautifully like Lady Mary, as you are speaking so beautifully now. This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Leica Radio. I'm having a very fruitful, fascinating conversation. As you see, I pushed up my speaking voice now with Shruti Chauhan from BBC Radio Leicester, a poet and a broadcaster. Join me after the break.
सस्ती से सस्ती फ्लाइट्स और हॉलिडे पैकेज चाहिए तो 24 घंटे 7 दिन किसी भी समय ट्रैवल हब का नंबर मिलाइए फॉर क्रूज टेलर मेड हॉलिडे होटल बुकिंग्स एंड हनीमून पैकेजेस हमसे सस्ता कहीं नहीं मिल सकता कॉल ट्रैवल हब 24/7 on 0208-782-8833 or visit travelhubltd.co.uk.
Travel Hub, best service with unbeatable price.
At all protected.
Visit travelhubltd.co.uk.
When you invite everyone round to watch the game, when you want the atmosphere to feel like you're actually there, when you have to catch all the action from every angle. This season, go bigger with a Samsung Neo QLED TV for great family viewing. Plus, a choice of ways to pay with VeryPay. Choose Pay Now, Pay Later or pay over 3 months and pay no interest. Shop Samsung now at very.co.uk. VeryPay credit provided subject to status by Shop Direct Finance Company Limited, 18+. Representative 39.9% APR variable.
Time to invest in your child's future is now. KSG Learning Tuition specialises in English, Maths and Science tuition from reception to GCSEs. Conducted by certified tutors delivering both online and at the centre located in Cranford, Bath Road, TW5 9WA. To book your free lesson, visit www.ksglearning.com.
As the cost of living is rising, your earnings need to do as well. SBI UK has got great news for your savings. SBI UK Instant Access Savings Account can earn you 1.2% with flexible access of your deposits. And if you go for fixed deposits, then your savings can earn you up to 4.75%. Terms and conditions apply. For more details, visit sbiuk.com. SBI UK is serving the customers in the UK for over 100 years now. SBI UK is regulated by the FCA and the PRA.
With winter upon us, things are getting superb at Scoop Herb. With their flavourful hot desserts, sizzle your taste buds with cookie dough, waffles, crepes and chocolate baklava. Their luxurious baklava with ice cream is heavenly. And why not make your own shake with Scoop Herb's unique flavoured ice cream? Visit the Scoop Herb branches in Rayners Lane, Harrow, Alperton, Wembley, Hanworth Road, Hounslow, Basingstoke and St Albans Road, Watford. Feel superb with Scoop Herb.
Tasty.
सब जरूरतों में साथ निभाएं जैसे
सेटको माइक्रोवेव फूड कंटेनर्स
हर मौके पर काम ये आए घर घर खुशियां लाए
जहां जिंदगी वहां सेटको माइक्रोवेव फूड कंटेनर्स
The National Asian Wedding Show is back. Sunday, 20th of November at Novotel Hotel, West London, Hammersmith from 11 a.m. with wide range of wedding suppliers to plan a memorable and unique wedding. Visit myfreetickets.co.uk to secure your free tickets today. Official radio partner Leica Radio and Leica Gold.
Himalaya Carpets is now doing buy now and pay later with up to 12 months interest-free credit available on all carpets, sofas and beds. Branches at Southall, Slough and Hounslow.
Himalayan carpets for low prices. Himalayan carpets.
Radio Station of the Year.
Leica Radio.
The personalities that matter with Keith Vaz on Talking Points.
Leica Radio.
Welcome back. This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Leica Radio. I'm having a fascinating conversation with Shruti Chauhan, journalist, radio broadcaster, but most importantly, award-winning poet and performer. Shruti, if you were trying to pick out your favourite poem, what would that be? What poem do you like the best?
I think it's difficult to say I have one favourite poem because I love all of my poems, or probably hate all of my poems equally. But one of the poems that I perform that is really well received, that people seem to really like, is a poem I've written about my mother tongue. And that it's called Relations. It's about me, an imagined me, age 5 or 6, just trying to make sense of language, because the only language that I knew before I started school was my mother tongue, and that was Gujarati. So when I started school and I heard the words uncle and aunt, I was so confused, because obviously my mother tongue has so many words for uncle and aunt. So that poem is me quite playfully trying to make sense of that.
Now, social media, of course, is a big challenge to broadcast journalism. You're a broadcaster, and therefore what you do is perform a very valuable service. Do you think that social media is now becoming an additional source of news that challenges traditional broadcasting? Are you worried about social media? Do you feel you should be part of it? Do you think you need to tweet everything that you say? Or do you think that we'll always have a place for television, radio and newspapers?
I think that social media is a double-edged sword. So it has transformed the way that we tell news, because what it has allowed is for ordinary people to become journalists effectively. So you don't need to work for an organization. You don't need to have specialist equipment. You just need to have a smartphone and a social media account. And that is a wonderful thing, because it means that we can hear about things we wouldn't traditionally. No matter how many reporters we've got, you can't cover every single story. But I think the thing that we've seen and we've experienced so many times of late is that there is a dark and dangerous side to social media. And that is when fake news is allowed to spread. So traditional media outlets, we've got the resources to verify facts before we broadcast. You don't have that with social media. And so anyone can post a story without checking the facts, and then that fake news can go viral, people believe it, and then there's really dangerous consequences. So I would say that we need social media, but we need to be really careful, because things can go very wrong.
You're absolutely right. Now, in terms of the people that you might want to interview in the future, say I was your producer at BBC Radio Leicester and I said to you, Shruti Chauhan, you could interview anyone in the world. Who would be the person that you would want to interview, and why would you want to interview them? Anyone, from Michelle Obama, Donald Trump, who is it going to be?
I think I'm going to say a writer. I'm going to say Arundhati Roy. She is one of my favourite writers. She wrote The God of Small Things, and she's just a beautiful poetic writer, and I've always admired her writing and her activism as well. So I would love to interview Arundhati Roy.
Good choice. And finally, what about your ambitions? Now, I've heard rumours that you're quite keen to go to Australia to join Matt Hancock in I'm a Celebrity. Is that the kind of thing that we can expect for Shruti Chauhan? What would you like to do?
Well, that, Keith, is fake news, so be weary of that.
Well, I just made it up, so I know it's fake. Well, what's your ambition? What would you really like to do? Would you like to do the 10 o'clock news? Would you like to do Match of the Day? Would you like to compare the Eurovision Song Contest? What's the one thing that you really want to do?
Oh, gosh. I would love one day to be able to do Woman's Hour, actually. Radio 4. There's so many places I'd want to be, so many things I'd want to do. But because you're putting me on the spot, I'm going to say that for now. But I just want to be able to continue to share really powerful stories and meet the really incredible individuals that I get to meet and speak to on a daily basis.
That's wonderful. It has been a pleasure talking to you. As someone who has always admired your speaking voice on BBC Radio Leicester, though did I hear a hint when you said this one word of your northern roots? Did I hear you say path?
Yes, I am. I'm Leicester born and bred. Wow.
So where does this path come from then?
That is the correct way to say the word, Keith.
Is it? Oh, I've been put in my place by Shruti Chauhan. It's been marvellous talking to you, to getting your thoughts about the media industry and to hearing about your very special interest in poetry. We always ask our special guests to choose a song that means something special to them and to dedicate it to someone special. Which song would you like to choose, and to whom would you like to dedicate it?
So I'd like to choose the song Lab Par Aaye. It's from the Amazon Prime series Bandish Bandit, and it is a really beautiful, classically based track. I'd like to dedicate it to my dad, who first introduced me to Indian classical music, to Bollywood, and to the arts as a little girl.
Shruti Chauhan, thank you so much for joining us on Leica Radio this morning. I hope you have a great Sunday, and I look forward to hearing your broadcast when I switch on to Radio Leicester on Monday morning.
Thank you so much, Keith, for having me on the programme, and best wishes to all listeners of Leica Radio.
Let's hear Shruti Chauhan's song, which is dedicated to her dad, Surek.
लब पर आए गीत सुहाने माने न जियरा लाख बहाने लब पर आए गीत सुहाने माने न जियरा लाख बहाने याद तिहारी आए सताने मन लागे रे पछताने हो मोरे सैया मैं लागूं तोरे पैया बलमवा ना जाओ परदेस सजना जी करूं मैं कैसे राजी पिया जी लाग जिया कोठे न जाने मन ही जाने मैं जानूं न जाने बैरी ये दुनिया आए न बादल नीर बहाने ना कोई भंवरा न कलियां मुरझाए हाय ये बगिया लड़ पछताऊं समझ न पाऊं रूठ पिया को कैसे मनाऊं भेद जिया के किसको दिखाऊं किसको बताऊं कलेस हो कन्हाई न छोड़ रे कलाई दुहाई भूल न जा दरवेश मोरे सैया मैं लागूं तोरे पैया बलमवा ना जाओ परदेस लागे जिया कोठे लागे जिया कोठे लागे जिया को लागे जिया को लागे जिया को
Leica Radio. Flight updates are brought to you by TravelUp.com. Flights, hotels and holidays.
Let's go for a flight update. All flights are as scheduled, but please check with your flight operators before heading to the airport.
Flight updates were brought to you by TravelUp.com. Lowest prices are guaranteed only when you book directly through TravelUp.com. Call 0207 580 5000.
Leica Radio.
Traffic and travel.
I'm Michael Page. The M4 remains closed both ways for weekend works between Junction 3 for Hayes and Heston and 4B for the M25 until tomorrow morning. In North East London, heading out of town on the A12 East Cross route at Hackney Wick, there's lots of surface water, so do take care if you're on that stretch. Heading out of London on the A2 between Dartford Heath and the M25 Junction 2 Darrett interchange and accidents blocking a lane. And further out on the A2 heading towards London at the Bean interchange, there are also reports of an accident. On the trains, industrial action today is affecting Avanti West Coast services, so it's best to check before setting out to see how your journey is affected. And engineering work means the Elizabeth line still isn't running between Whitechapel and Shenfield and between Hayes and Harlington and Heathrow Airport. The same work means the Heathrow Express isn't operating. And that's the latest traffic and travel.
Now get 25% off coffee and pastries at Cafe Nero 7 days a week with Compare the Market. Take it away, Sergey.
I need a Nero. I'm holding out for a Nero to get a flat white. It's gotta be strong, and it's gotta taste good, and it's gonna be made just right. I need a Nero.
Only with the Meerkat app from Compare the Market. With the qualifying product, 1 membership a year, 25% off barista-made drinks and pastries. App only, 2 codes per day. Exclusions and T's and C's apply.
This is Leica Radio.
Punjab National Bank International Limited launches mobile app for personal customers. Whether you want to send money to India or view your latest balance, do that on the go. Simply download our app for free from your mobile app store. Terms and conditions apply. For more details, please visit
www.pnbint.com. Deposit protection from FSCS. Authorized by the PRA and regulated by FCA and PRA.
The National Asian Wedding Show is back. Sunday, 20th of November at Novotel Hotel, West London, Hammersmith from 11 a.m. with wide range of wedding suppliers to plan a memorable and unique wedding. Visit myfreetickets.co.uk to secure your free tickets today. Official radio partner, Leica Radio and Leica Gold.
This is a message for every household in the UK. Everyone is entitled to government help with the cost of living. At gov.uk/help for households, you'll find over 40 different support schemes in one place. From help with energy bills to childcare costs, housing, transport, and more. Help is available now for every household. See what you're eligible for at gov.uk/help for households.
इस कड़कड़ाती ठंड में एक बढ़िया कड़क गर्मा गर्म चाय मिल जाए तो आए हाय मजा आ जाए।
अरे समझो हो गया, रॉयल चाय है ना, अब भी बन जाएगी। सिर्फ पैकेट खोलो और गर्म पानी में घोल लो, चाय तैयार, वो भी रॉयल टेस्ट के साथ। रॉयल चाय, झटपट, कहीं भी, कभी भी।
Hostel World provides worldwide flight tickets at exclusive rates and free fit-to-fly RT-PCR test with our flight tickets. Visit www.hostelworld.com or call 0300 124 6500 at All Protected.
We had our work party last night. It was so boring. I got all dolled up, wore my favourite dress, and the food was awful. Where was your party?
Our party was booked at Karma Lounge. The food was spectacular, the vibe was amazing, and my feet, they're killing me. Everyone's been buzzing at the office.
Maybe I should apply for a job at your place.
The Karma Lounge. Book your group or office parties with our exclusive deals all Christmas. Enjoy our authentic festive Indian cuisine in lavish setups. Call 0203 46 86 555 or online at thekarmalounge.co.uk. Black Friday sale at K Furniture starts early and is now on. Up to 70% off sofas, dining, beds and bedrooms, living and lounge furniture. Immediate delivery, all stocks must go. Don't miss out on these fabulous deals at K Furniture. Stores at Cricklewood, Harrow, Hatch End and Hayes. Or order online at kfurniture.co.uk.
Are you a girl of Indian origin living in Britain between 16 and 30? Want to pursue new careers, following your dreams and fulfill your passion? Want to make an impact and play the larger role in a community? Then we have a platform for you. Miss India UK, a great learning platform to rediscover yourself. Apply now and join us on this journey. Call now on 07359 084 104 or email info@aglpenterprises.com.
Talking Points with Keith Vaz, celebrating diversity. Leica, London.
This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Leica Radio. My next guest on the programme is Jeff Booth, the Chief Superintendent in the Metropolitan Police Service and the lead for the MPS's drive to increase the number of Black, Asian and minority staff members into the Metropolitan Police, Europe's biggest police force. After 24 years' service with the British Transport Police, Jeff joined the Met to be part of the Commissioner's 2020 change programme to bring about a lasting change to our global city. Prior to this job, he was the commander of the London Borough of Bexley and was able to achieve the lowest crime rate in London during his tenure. Jeff is a qualified strategic public order commander with extensive operation experience, performing key command roles for events such as the London Olympics 2012, the Trooping of the Colour, the Notting Hill Carnival and New Year's celebration. He was awarded the Commissioner's Commendation for delivering the planning and organising the Queen's Diamond Jubilee events in London. Let's go over to central London, to New Scotland Yard, and join the Chief Superintendent, Jeff Booth. Good morning, Chief Superintendent Booth.
Good morning, Keith, and please call me Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. It's great to have you on the programme. Tell us firstly about the campaign that has been launched, which you are leading to increase minority representation. What's the primary goal behind this initiative?
The primary goal, we call this our outreach team, is to look at increasing the numbers of women and people from underrepresented groups with a particular focus on the black community. And the reason why it is so important is the Metropolitan Police Service. It serves the people of London. London is one of the most diverse cities in the world. And for us to provide a quality service, we have to represent the very communities that we serve.
The percentage of officers in the police from ethnic minorities in the United Kingdom as a whole is only 7%, while the overall population of people from minority backgrounds accounts for 13%. Why do you think that representation of ethnic minorities is so low, particularly in the senior positions? You're one of the very few, very senior black officers. Why is that the case, do you think?
I think historically there has been a lack of trust and confidence, in particular within the minority or underrepresented community. I think within policing as a whole, we have not done enough to create a culture and environment where people from different backgrounds would feel valued and welcomed. And that's one of the reasons why we are doing the work which we are doing. You have mentioned the percentages for the UK, but within the Metropolitan Police Service, we have representation around about 16%, which is well above the national average, but still nowhere near what the population of London is. So there's still a lot more work that needs to be done, but we need to recognise that we have to provide that welcoming environment for people to feel comfortable joining us.
Now, there have been several reports recently on racism within the Metropolitan Police. Do you accept the allegations that have been made, or do you think they're unfair? And in any event, these kinds of reports does actually have an effect on the willingness of people to come forward and join an organisation like the Met.
Yeah, so you'll be aware historically the Macpherson report branded or gave the Met the term institutionally racist, and most recently Baroness Louise Casey's interim report, she came up with the term that our professional standards department was structurally racist. Now, as difficult as that might be for many within the organisation to accept, we need to accept it, because the only way you can bring about real lasting change is by accepting the findings, recognising that there is a lot of work that needs to be done, and we need to demonstrate to the public that we understand their views and that we are taking real steps to bring about the change. I am confident to say, with our new commissioner in place, he very much understands the challenge, and we are looking to work with key community leaders, but also officers within inside the organisation to bring about the change which is so desperately needed.
This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Leica Radio. I'm having a very interesting conversation with one of Britain's leading black police officer, a chief superintendent in the Met, Jeff Booth. We're going to be talking to him after the break about why he joined the police and other aspects of the current debate. Join me after the break.
बोला था मैंने सारी बहने आएगी लेने दिल तेरा आए अकेली हाय अकेली सहेली उफ सहेली जैसे भी मिले मिलते जा मिलते जा मिलते जा मिलते जा
On Talking Points, Leica.
Welcome back. This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Leica Radio. I'm talking to Chief Superintendent Jeff Booth, one of London and the country's leading black police officers. He's leading the campaign for the Met to drive an increase in the number of BAME members into the force. Jeff Booth, let's talk about your own journey and experiences in the Met. How did you get interested in joining the force? Did you do this as a child, or was it later on that you decided you wanted to be a police officer?
No, if you'd have asked me when I was a teenager, then being a police officer was probably the furthest thing from my mind. I played sports at a very young age. I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to go to America to play basketball. Unfortunately, I didn't grow enough, so I had to come back at the end of my scholarship, and I thought to myself, what would I do with my life? What did I want to do? And I thought about a career where I could develop. I could be doing different roles without having to change my job. And also I wanted to do something where I gave back to other people at the same time. So I made the decision 31 years ago to join the British Transport Police, and I've been a police officer ever since.
Was your experience difficult? I mean, you must have seen some of the stories in the newspapers and on the media about the way in which some officers feel they have been treated. Did you see any of that on your journey up to basically the top of the police force? Do you recognise some of those instances that have occurred? Or do you think that this is just spin that has been put on by people?
So I've been in policing now 31 years. I have experienced discrimination, which is unfair treatment. I've known colleagues that have also experienced it, and I've seen the impact that it's had on them as individuals, because I think we need to remember that we are human beings out behind the badge. It does have an impact on you as an individual, it has an impact on your family. But I'd also like to say that whichever walk in life that you may be in, whatever career you're in, there is a potential that you can experience that, and it's about how you overcome it, and it's how you become stronger. And more often than not, you do that through friends and family and remaining focused on why you take a particular choice of career. And for me, policing was that important that I would not let anything else detract me from my overall aims and ambition.
What I find odd is while the representation of ethnic minorities in the force may be rising, the numbers who reach the senior level positions are not represented at all. The Met, of course, is performing better here, but elsewhere in the United Kingdom, these figures are pretty shocking. Why is that the case? Is it because the popularity of the Met attracts people, or is it a bigger structural factor?
I think if we collectively recognize the value in terms of having diversity of thought, the ability to empathize, the ability to see things from a different perspective, then I think there would be more of an incentive for organizations to have more diverse leaders at the very, very top. And I think that's one of the areas that too often, I would say, we could look at in terms of America. They have been very successful. And I think there are lessons that we could learn in that area about how do we support, mentor and guide some of the senior officers to make those decisions in joining other forces.
Mm. Tell me, finally, you've got a new chief constable, Mark Rowley. Your previous commissioner, Cressida Dick, was very, very keen on diversity and ethnic minority recruitment. Are you confident of the future? Do you think that people will actually join as a result of this campaign? What are your benchmarks? What do you want to raise the percentage by, or is that too clinical a position?
In terms of the new commissioner, he's made it very, very clear, Sir Mark Rowley, the need to have a more representative policing service. He's been very, very supportive of the outreach team, which I lead, and is led from the front in coming out to our events to see firsthand the challenges that we face on a daily basis in engaging with people who are reticent about joining an organisation that in recent months, the past year or so, has had a lot of negativity. And what I would say to anybody out there that does want to see a policing service that they can be proud of, that wants to ensure that there is a representative policing service, that is equally disgusted as I am with some of the things that have occurred. The only way that you can really bring about change is by being inside the organisation and being part of the change that you want to see. So for me, the challenge is anybody out there that wants to make a difference, then we would be very, very interested in providing you support. Please look on our Met website, which is www.met.police.uk, and you'll start to find some information, and one of my team will be glad to have a conversation with you.
Jeff Booth, this has been a delightful and informative conversation. I wanted to ask you, if you would, as we ask all our guests, to choose a song that means something to them and to dedicate it to someone special. Which song would you like to choose, and to whom would you like to dedicate it?
The song that I would like to choose would be Redemption Song by Bob Marley. The lyrics themselves speak volumes for me, and I would like to dedicate it to my daughter, who's 5 years of age. Delrose, this song is for you.
Jeff Booth, thank you so much for joining us again, and the very best of luck in your campaign. All of us in Leica Radio wish you well. We want to make sure that the Metropolitan Police is as representative of London as it can be.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much, Keith, for having me on your programme today, and I'd like to give best wishes to all listeners to Leica Radio.
Let's hear your song.
Our love shall kill our prophets while we Biggest sale of the year. This Black Friday, miss out the madness and shop all the deals you love in one place. Like save up to 40% off selected Silent Night. And save up to 50% off selected sofas and chairs. Plus, a choice of ways to pay with VeryPay. Choose Pay Now, Pay Later, or pay over 3 months and pay no interest. Shop Black Friday at very.co.uk. VeryPay credit provided subject to status by Shop Direct Finance Company Limited, 18+. Representative 39.9% APR variable.
Planning to travel? Cover your trip with Holiday Risk Worldwide Travel Insurance. Our policies cover COVID if you test positive before your trip and need to cancel. 24 hours medical assistance abroad, personal belongings, gadget cover, and much more. T's and C's apply. Holiday Risk is regulated by the FCA. We've got you covered. Competitive prices online. Book now at holidayrisk.com. Are you covered?
Haldiram brings you the most loved Indian sweets which are freshly made in UK. Now order your favorite Haldiram products online only on haldiramuk.com. Also available at your local Asian store at super special prices.
Bollywood's iconic film Disco Dancer comes alive on stage.
I am a disco dancer.
Take yourself back to the disco era of the 80s with live singing, retro costumes, elaborate dance sequences and English dialogues. November 16th to the 20th at Sadler's Wells Theatre, London. Book your tickets now at sadlerswells.com and log on to likeradio.com and click on the banner to purchase tickets. Exclusive radio partner, Leica Radio and Leica Gold. Time to invest in your child's future is now. KSG Learning Tuition specializes in English, Maths and Science tuition from reception to GCSEs. Conducted by certified tutors delivering both online and at the centre located in Cranford, Bath Road, TW5 9WA. To book your free lesson, visit www.ksglearning.com.
आजकल सैटको के हैं चर्चे हर ज़बान पर
सैटको माइक्रोवेव फूड कंटेनर्स के जलवे हैं
हर तरफ हर जगह
सिर्फ सैटको दिखे चीजें ताज़ा रखे और ज़्यादा टिके
इसलिए सैटको पे हर किसी की नजर
जहाँ जिंदगी वहाँ सैटको माइक्रोवेव फूड कंटेनर्स.
You'll be cheering too if you're eligible to join My Diesel Claim. If you owned or leased a diesel vehicle between 2009 and 2020, you could be entitled to significant compensation. At My Diesel Claim, over 1 million people have already put their trust in us. That's over 10 sellout crowds at Wembley. It's free to sign up and you can check your vehicle's eligibility instantly. Join thousands of other football fans and head to mydieselclaim.com today.
Black Friday sale at K Furniture starts early and is now on. Up to 70% off sofas, dining, beds and bedrooms, living and lounge furniture. Immediate delivery, all stocks must go. Don't miss out on these fabulous deals at K Furniture. Stores at Cricklewood, Harrow, Hatch End and Hayes. Or order online at kfurniture.co.uk.
The personalities that matter with Keith Vaz on Talking Points.
Leica Radio.
Time's up for this week. I hope you enjoyed today's programme. Don't forget, next Friday, the 25th of November, it is Black Friday. So get ready to get your best bargains at your local stores. My thanks to Shruti Chauhan and Jeff Booth for joining us today. Special thanks to my researcher, Jevit, show producer, Rupi, and my editor, Adam. To end today's programme, we'll be listening to You Hi Chala Chal, which means keep walking on your journey, which is good advice for me because yesterday I did my annual diabetes walk and my feet are now up on a chair. This particular song had 46 million views on YouTube. Please stay tuned for the wonderful Sheena, who follows the news on Leica Radio, Britain's greatest Asian radio station. This has been Talking Points on Leica Radio with Keith Vaz, broadcasting from London. I hope you have a great Sunday.
चल रही यूं ही चल रही कितनी हसीन है ये दुनिया भूल सारे झमेले फूलों के मेले बड़ी रंगीन है ये दुनिया रुम दुम दाना रत दुम दाना रुम दुम दाना रत दुम दाना रुम दुम दाना रत दुम दाना भैया अब मुझसे मिलने को है कोई कहीं अब तुझसे ये रास्ता है कह रहा अब मुझसे मिलने को है कोई कहीं अब तुझसे दिल को है क्यों ये बेताबी किससे मुलाकात होनी है जिसका कब से अरमा था शायद वही बात होनी है यूं ही चला चल रही यूं ही चला चल रही जीवन गाड़ी है समय पहिया आंसू की नदियां भी हैं खुशियों की बगियां भी हैं रास्ता सब तेरा तक है भैया यूं ही चला चल रही यूं ही चला चल रही कितनी हसीन है ये दुनिया फूल सारे झमेले देख फूलों के मेले बड़ी रंगीन है ये दुनिया ना ना है ना ना देखो जिधर भी इन राहों में रंग पिघलते हैं निगाहों में ठंडी हवा है ठंडी छाँव है दूर वो जाने किसका गाँव है बादल ये कैसा छाया दिल ये कहाँ ले आया सपना ये क्या दिखलाया है मुझको हर सपना सच लगे जो प्रेम मगन जले जो राह तू चले अपने मन की हर पल किसी से मोती ही तू चुने जो तू सदा सुने अपने मन की यूं ही चला चल रही यूं ही चला चल रही कितनी हसीन है ये दुनिया फूल सारे झमेले देख फूलों के मेले बड़ी रंगीन है ये दुनिया मन अपने को कुछ ऐसे हल्का पाए जैसे कंधों पे रखा बोझ हट जाए जैसे भोला सा बचपन फिर से आए जैसे बरसों में कोई गंगा नहाए जैसे बरसों में कोई गंगा खुलसा गया है ये मन खुलसा गया हर बंधन जीवन अब लगता है पावन मुझको जीवन में प्रीत है होठों पे गीत है बस ये ही जीत है सुन ले राही तू जिस दिशा भी जा तू प्यार ही लुटा तू दीप ही जला सुन ले राही यूं ही चला चल रही यूं ही चला चल रही कौन ये मुझको पुकारे नदियाँ पहाड़ झील और झरने जंगल और वादी इनमें है किसके इशारे यूं ही चला चल रही यूं ही चला चल रही कितनी हसीन है ये दुनिया मुझसे मिलने को है कोई कहीं अब तुझसे